Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Final Show Films. I am Sen, your executive producer. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $12 tier supporters over at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, those being Samantha Bates, Jeremy and Alexander, and Elle, without whom we wouldn't be able to do nearly as much what we do now. So thank you very much for your support over the years. And those of you that are watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Exandria Rising. I am Sen, your game master for the evening, and I am joined this week by Shawnee.
Hi, I'm Shawnee, or William, and I'm playing Najka Flamehull, the Orcish craftsman.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing Ella Fira. She is what she is.
The Water Ganassi Rogue.
I think it's funnier if we just say she is what she is. But yes, Water Genasi Rogue.
And Craig.
Hi, I'm playing Grouper, the Fisher Fish Circle of the Moon druid.
And Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm two people in a trench coat playing three goblins in a mech, Meanie Manny, Gatsby, and Peas.
And Trevian.
Caravan, I'm playing Tenebris, a Gerbine Witch.
And Holly.
Holly, I'm playing Davina, a Silky Folk Mister.
All right. And when last we as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights and human rights.
I can never remember which way it's supposed to be when you start talking because it's so much funnier when you get them mixed up.
That's fair. And yeah. When last we left off, there was a bit of a contentious evening watch as Grouper and Davina had a conversation, which resulted in Davina splashing water on Elafira, who was not asleep, and attempting to drag her into the conversation, which is where we pick up.
So really quick, before we go into this, for my reference, because it has been a few weeks, Ella has no idea what's going on other than been woken up and dragged into conversation.
You were
correct?
already awake and you were drinking, and Davina walked up to you with a bucket full of water and splashed it on you, thinking you were asleep for some reason.
You diverted it magically because you can just do that.
Could shape water because Genasi, yeah.
Yeah.
That does not mean you have any idea what's going on.
But yeah, you have no idea what's going on.
We were far enough away. I don't think you were here.
I have no idea why I'm being dragged into it.
Correct.
All right, Davina shouted in your head, "We are settling this now," and started dragging you off.
Okay. I get dragged because I'm also drunk.
Perfect.
Ella's drunk, not me.
Drags you over and sits you down next to Grouper.
No.
Stay. We are dealing with this next. Stay. I talk first.
Are you talking out loud or in their heads?
In their heads.
It's very quiet.
I have been in the middle of this for too long. You two obviously still have feelings for each other and have a lot of stuff you need to work out. No, I talk now. Okay? Yes, you both have feelings for each other, and you really just need to admit it and figure things out. Because your drama is taking too much up from what this group is trying to do. She was going to say that anyway.
Say, from a metatextual standpoint, that's really funny.
She was going to say that anyway. Ella, Grouper still has feelings for you. Grouper, Ella has feelings for you. All right. I am stepping out of I mean, I'm going to be here right now to make sure you don't kill each other. But beyond that, I am stepping out of this. You need to work this out. For the group, no one's running away. Whether it gets completely resolved or not, you just need to come to some sort of an agreement right now. Okay. And she just puts her head on her hands and looks at both of you.
Grouper looks back
What
and
the
forth.
fuck did you say to her?
Look, she started it, but I turns and looks at Davina through the mental link. We're not going to kill each other. It's really uncomfortable doing this at all, let alone with you watching us this closely. If you
I'm
want
not
us
gonna
to talk,
lie. This does seem a little bit voyeuristic and not in the fun way.
if we promise to talk and promise not to kill each other, will you back up a little?
I need the promise that neither of you are going to run away like the cowards that you continue being. I love you both.
Davina, what do you want out of this? You understand that.
A good night's sleep.
Well, I think looking over at Elifira, I think we can guarantee that.
I've been in the middle of this for too long. And I've tried to step out of it, and I keep getting pulled back in. I love both of you. You need to settle this. I will step away and let you settle it if you can promise me that you're not going to run off mid-conversation, because that keeps happening.
I promise.
She looks at Ella.
I have not been the person who has been the issue with that. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. I'm going to sleep. And she will walk off. And drops the mental.
Has Davina always been able to turn into a seal, like since we were kids?
Yeah, she's a Selkie. That's
Okay,
inherent.
yeah. I wanted to make sure that that wasn't a thing that like manifests later in life or something. Okay. All right. Sorry. So Gruber just sort of watches Davina walk off.
Okay, for real, what the fuck did you say?
I don't know. Okay, the thing with the deer really confused me. When you climbed on, can we just both agree it was too soon for that?
I didn't think so,
Well,
but
it's too soon
apparently it
for me.
was. Okay, fair enough. My bad. We were in the middle of a fucking. We were in the middle of a fight.
No, out of character. This was when the stag showed up and we chased it.
Close enough to a fight.
Okay, all right.
Ella is not entirely like putting the words together at the moment.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was
That's
an
fair.
action sequence. It was a fight to her.
Hey, oh, absolutely. Out of character. It's been a couple weeks, so I just wanted to double check. But...
No, also yes, I did not remember that.
Okay.
I legitimately thought it was a fight. What?
So
I mean,
Gruber
I did
offer.
not realize that would make you uncomfortable.
I didn't think it would.
Well, there were. Now we know we cannot do that going forward.
What did you say to Vina to make her think that you still have feelings. Because she's convinced that it goes both ways.
I do love that subtle admission that she was right on your end.
Yes.
I don't know. I've been dodging how to put. She asked and I changed the subject because it's complex and strange and uncomfortable. And I don't know how to answer it.
Feel like we've got
Somebody's
nothing
watching
but proof
me.
at this point that
Sorry, what did you say? I appreciate the humor, but I missed what.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I appreciate her. I think at this point we've got nothing but evidence to show that trying to figure out what we're going to do, whatever is here, while we're on the road, crammed together, trying to save the world, probably not the easiest time to do it.
So, probably not. I'm not gonna lie, and this isn't on you. I'm not. This maybe you're gonna commiserate with me on this, but I am a little tired of every frustration that I might have with you being. And I'm not saying I have a ton of them, but being somehow equated to, well, it's because of unresolved past feelings and drama and such and such. Sometimes you're just fucking stupid, and sometimes I'm just a bitch.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, yeah, exactly. You stabbed me. I'd be pissed off if anybody stabbed me.
Yes, and okay, I stabbed you because I woke up and you were a giant frog over me and I didn't realize. But yes, no, I get that you'd be pissed about that.
No, but no, you're right. I mean, we talked about that, but you're right.
Right, we talked about it. It's over. It's done with. Like, and I was really fucking frustrated over the whole turn to stone thing.
Yeah, I just. Yeah, I
And I
gotta
feel
tell you,
like
when
somehow it got wrapped up in the, well, I mean, which is especially weird because Davina was also really pissed about it too.
yeah,
But
do you still love me?
I don't know how to answer that.
Honestly?
I don't know how to answer that because I don't know what the answer is.
Okay.
We were gone for a long time from each other.
That's fair. And
When we split up, sorry, let's call them, when I broke up with you, I had to move on. And I chose to do that in a lot of different ways. And then don't give me that fucking look. That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
okay.
I'm acknowledging and admitting to nothing at this particular moment. But I had to move on. And then when we all got back together, there was a lot of frustration and understandable on your end in some degree, and a lot of high stress because everything that happened and it all blew up, and like there was a lot wrapped up in that, so I didn't get a chance to even think about it or not. And everything's been all this big ball of what the fuckery that I can't unwind right now because we're in the middle of a goddamn fishbowl with everybody watching us.
Okay, insensitive.
To
but
both of us.
Not inaccurate.
It's fine. I can say it.
Not inaccurate. I
Also a
I-
water person.
I'm a water breather too. I can say.
Exactly.
I feel like I can have all kinds of gut reactions to the fact that you moved on in whatever way that you did, but I feel like if I'm really honest with myself and if I'm honest with you, even if I didn't agree, we don't have to agree. If you're ready to move on, you didn't need my buy-in to that. You moved on. And if I'd spent the last 5 years moving on too, this whole thing would have been a lot different, a lot easier.
Probably.
And
You're not wrong, probably. But it is what it is at this point. Like, we can't undo what we've done.
no, we can't. And we're all, it sort of gestures back to the camp. We're all different people now. Some of us, well, I was going to say some of us more than others, but maybe some of us just in more obvious ways. But
One of us looks like a patchwork of scars and bleeds lava.
Insert a choking cough in the distance.
I, it just sort of gestures at that. See, we're all a hell of a lot more narratively interesting now. Um,
Look, I know what Davina wants to have happen. That's not true. I have no fucking idea. But I know that at the very least, Davina wants some big talk and some big resolution. We're all gonna. That's not gonna happen.
that's not.
It's unrealistic. You are correct. This is the wrong place and the wrong time for us to come to some sort of resolution. Honestly, I feel like what we've been trying to do, have we been successful at it all the time? No. But what we're trying to do, which is be ourselves in each other's company while we deal with all of this stuff, is the best way to go about it. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like no small amount of the problem is the fact that everything we do, everything we say in relation to each other is being viewed through a microscope by everybody around us. And if they can fucking chill, maybe we will have a chance to chill.
I
Hey,
think you're right.
everybody, come here.
Oh God.
So you just yelled at the
Oh.
entire caravan that is
Yes.
full of NPCs too?
Oh, yes, because Ella is drunk.
Martin Victoria stands up and
I did not
trundles
think
over.
about that because, but
everyone
yes.
everyone that is asleep, give me
Sorry.
a perception check with disadvantage.
Immediately,
Najka,
I
I'm-
see a bunch of random people's heads start to turn. Sorry, everybody in our group,
Which
come here.
of course you haven't really identified who that is. Najka, I'm pretty certain is on watch right now. So she's just gonna
Martin Victoria will come over.
she's just gonna wave everybody else, like tell everyone who is not part of the group, go back to whatever you were doing, and we'll just gather up the rest of Nivanaya.
First off, I'm real sorry about this. Second of all, just the people from Twertakala that came with us. I don't know. I didn't do a survey of where everybody else is from.
Naj can coordinate, and yeah, if you're shaking people awake, then they don't need to make rolls.
Yeah, I just
Najka,
wait
as
for everybody
technically
to show up.
one of the high ranking guards on this expedition, will like coordinate everyone else to go back to what they were doing.
He's just drunk. Go back to sleep.
Tenebris just rolls over.
Yeah, once
Tenebris,
Najka's-
get your ass over here now.
Rolls
I will
faster.
pick you up and I will carry you over here if I can walk.
Rolls faster.
Oh wait, are you rolling towards us? Because I thought you might just rolled over in bed.
No, rolling towards you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Not getting
I
up, just
thought you
literally
meant roll
rolling in your
over and
direction.
go back
Yeah.
to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, fair.
He is a Jerbean. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. As soon as
Gosh.
everybody gets over.
Nashko will walk over once everyone else has been coordinated.
Actually, really
All
quick.
right, listen.
Really quick. Dravian, roll me a D100.
38.
All right, now let me roll this. This is just a luck roll. Hang on.
Mm-hmm. It's like shouting into the night in the
Yeah.
woodlands.
So you do halfway there. You do roll directly into a protruding rock. Just
Oh no!
because you're rolling along the ground. But you do get there otherwise.
Hey, everybody.
Just fell asleep.
River just
Well,
holds his face
you
in his
started
hands.
this. This is your fault. No. It's my turn. So,
Nashko looks over at Davina. Looks back at, at Ella.
there seems to be a perception of frustration over the fact that Grouper and I have not magically resolved all of our issues in the time we've been running around fighting, investigating shit, jumping into dungeons, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the while having multiple people watching us, waiting, interpreting every fucking little gesture, word, etc., as a signal one way or the other. So
Nashko holding glass of water in hand. I've just been letting you do things at your own pace.
yeah, but
Nashko's never once butted in about your relationship. You
I
actually
know.
commented that.
I know. Ella very much knows. So here's the deal.
That
We are
wasn't-
trying to just be and figure out who we are when and coexisting next to each other. It is really hard when we feel like we are under a microscope. Would you agree with that, Grouper?
I mean, in theory, I don't think we needed to yell at everybody, but
I'm not. I'm trying not to yell.
well, yeah, okay. And it does turns out, and Vina, you did say you wanted this wrapped up tonight.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying not to yell.
Was that the cause of this?
This is frustration that has been building for a while. And you're all great and I love you all. But it is really fucking hard dealing with the level of scrutiny and expectations and presuppositions that have built up around our situation. So if we can have some of that back off, maybe we can figure out who we are and then figure out after that what we are. Is everybody cool with that?
Nashko shrugs.
Will
Of course
this help
you
you be
shrug.
less obsessed with the topic of each other?
I would love to. Again, when it feels like everybody is waiting for us to explode, that's all that can be on my mind.
Fyron will sort of lean forward. I think, if I may, I think what you're asking then is that perhaps the rest of you could leave Elefira and Grouper to their own damn business and let them resolve things at their own pace.
Are they going to resolve it, or are they going to continue to gossip with Davina about each other?
again, well, this will require, he'll start looking into you, that you not then immediately go to someone else and complain about the other to them, because then you're dragging them back into it, which is what makes them watch it.
Obviously, and that's
He's looking at
I'm
Grouper at that
sorry.
point.
Fair. Davina, Ella doesn't notice
No, that's fair. That's fair.
because Ella, again, not only is drunk but is also very self-centered.
Grouper holds up a big finger and says, "Now, I'm not going to say I haven't done some stupid things, and I'm not going to say I haven't let my feelings get in the way of things, but I'm not dragging anybody into conversations. The extended conversations that have occurred are because other people keep coming to me and talking about it. I'm going to cut out the stupid stuff, at least as far as this goes."
Are you intentionally not? Are you trying to intentionally indicate that you didn't bring up the thing about the horse bit? Above table, because I don't know if that's just you forgetting.
No, Davina started that conversation.
I
Yeah.
did not.
No, you did.
You did.
You started
I did
that
not
conversation.
start that conversation. I was just sitting with you. I
That's fair.
re-listened to it. Grouper
Yeah,
started
I
that
haven't.
conversation.
That's why I was checking above table, because I wasn't sure if Grouper
Yeah.
was passing blame or Craig was forgetting.
No, that was
No,
the
Craig is
straw that broke the
forgetting.
camel's
I do
back.
think Grouper has enough levels of denial that he probably thinks
So-
that's accurate.
So in that case,
So
Firen will
Yeah.
So both?
please, don't try to lie to a holy man.
I'm not lying. I'm just saying I've made mistakes. I'm probably gonna make some more. They're not gonna be this kind of thing.
He'll look at the others.
And to be fair, Davina, we absolutely have been pulling you in on this because I feel like we've both needed somebody to talk to, and you are the person who's been willing to listen, and we've probably taken advantage of that too much.
I'm willing to
It
help,
would-
but it to a point.
Right.
It reached a boiling point.
You need to tell us when it's when we've
I
just
crossed
the line.
did.
You did now, yes.
So we're going to respect everyone's privacy. We're going to let the situation resolve itself amongst the two of them. And we're not going to pull other
We
people
would like to
into
point
it,
out
so we don't get
that we're looking forward to your breakup, not looking so much like you're dating. So that we can talk to you about things, because you are not only talking about each other anymore.
I would love to talk to people about something else.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to ask above table. I mean, we have talked to each of you about plenty of other things. I understand that if that's the impression in this moment, we've had plenty of conversations about other
Oh,
things.
no, this is just it's being talked about as if
Yeah.
you're all being scrutinized all the time. And Martin Victoria has chosen multiple times over the past couple episodes not to talk to you because that's what's going on.
And in complete fairness,
And that's
at
what they're
least
pointing out.
from Ella's end, like I feel like a lot of the downtime stuff, she is not engaged with other people as a rule.
Yeah.
Because
That's
for
the
reason.
way Ella do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
for
just-
reason.
Yeah, to keep from sinking too far into the emotion of the characters, I think the constantly being scrutinized is an overreaction, not a reality. And so what Firen is doing is, because he is a highly empathetic character, Firen is sort of trying to very clearly lay out the lines of what is desired, because he understands the people involved aren't quite able to get that across.
I would disagree with overreaction. I would say perception, which is not
That's fair.
which I acknowledge is not necessarily accurate.
That is fair. So, are we agreed? Just say
I
aye.
am
Just say aye.
absolutely.
Aye.
Fuck
Davina
aye,
just nods.
as opposed to fuck yes.
Aye.
I,
Nashka.
and it's drawn out in a yawn.
Nashka just nods.
I know it wasn't too big of a concern in your part, my love, but still. Uh, to Martin Victoria.
Yes?
Sorry, you weren't coming through, so I wasn't sure if I heard it right or not.
No, they didn't say anything because they didn't
Gotcha.
feel the need to say anything because they've been opting out of this for a while now.
Yep.
And
And then
we've got just enough tism in this robot to not want to go along with the everyone let's do what we all know we want. Let's get the result we want,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Worm. Woof. Cool. All right. Sounds like we've got what you wanted.
Thank you.
Turns out the entire time Worm's been the one over scrutinizing.
Can I go back to sleep now?
Worm has been judging hard.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm
And-
sorry. I didn't want to have this conversation at this
But Worm,
point
you're
in
a
night,
problem.
but
It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfectly all right. Always happy to help, but I do need my sleep. And he just walks right back to the
Absolutely.
bedroll that he was in.
Before you go, love,
Yeah.
pass me your hammer. I'm gonna do some upgrades.
Yeah. Hands it over to you.
Before Davina, I'm messing up her name. Before Davina goes to bed, she will walk over to Ella and just give her a hug silently, and then
Mhm.
walk over to Grouper and give him a hug, and then go to bed.
Tenebris falls asleep on the spot. On the spot.
Now she
Alright.
goes back to her guard position. Is like, I know I don't say it out loud a lot, but if either of you need anything from me, you're welcome to come to me for anything.
okay.
You're willing to keep working on.
Oh, absolutely. Like I
Great.
said, anything you need.
All right. And as we delve back into the watches and finish our evening, we're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of an early break this week. So those of you that are watching live, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. And remember, when we take our break, you take yours. So stand up, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Ugh.
We're back. A dinosaur story. Look, Holly sat down between me saying we're going back and us being back.
Hooray.
Sorry, I want a coffee.
No, it's good. It's fine. All right.
That was good, well timed.
Well timed. So, you all get a long rest. Hit your long rest buttons. And let me. There we go.
What does the terrain look like for the day, just in
Uh,
terms of prepping stuff?
Fairly flat. The campground that you're at right now, everything is fairly flat from here up until you get to West Run, where it starts to become more hilly into the mountainous regions. So the surrounding area is flat and clear grasslands. With some rivers coming, with some rivers that cut through towards the Formula Basin. There's actually a river coming. It's actually a river crossing coming up that you'll be hitting, where it's a river that comes out of the summit peaks and sort of curves around through the plains, and then cuts across the road heading down towards the Formula Basin. That's coming up next. That's the most significant piece of land change that's happening next.
We don't have to roleplay this. Does anybody have any suggestions for things they would like group to have prepared for the day? I have my spells picked out, but if anybody has something that they want to make sure we have ready to go.
Just basic curing spells as far as Nox is concerned.
Those I've got.
Yep.
Goodberry.
That I do not have.
I said,
Worm is Goodberry.
you have previously cast Goodberry a lot, if I recall correctly, on a different character, on bees, I think it was.
Yeah, that's why I didn't take it on this one, because I
Fair.
was tired of doing it.
Fair. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as previously established, Goodberry, the calorie bomb spell.
Yeah, but also the worm does it.
Yeah,
So
worm
we certainly
worm
don't
can-
need two people with
Worm can
Goodberry.
find good berries. I assume that means nobody has any suggestions. So
No.
the caravan packs up. Oh, good.
I said no.
Okay. The caravan packs up, and you continue on. Later on in the day, actually, you hit that river, that bridge, that crossover. It's a fairly small bridge. It's a fairly narrow river. It's not like a big, massive river heading down towards the Formula Basin. But it does. You can see there are several sort of side roads that branch off around on either side of the river, separating from the main thoroughfare that you're on. And as the caravan comes up through the bridge on the other side, you all see an odd contraption heading up one of the side roads. Go ahead and make perception checks, just everybody see how much of it you see before it gets to you.
I see nothing.
Perception check.
21.
Ow. Nothing.
15.
28.
It makes sense that Najka would be one of the ones that gets a good perception on this, but Grouper as well. You see trundling up, at first it looks like it's a caravan, and then you realize there are no animals pulling this caravan, and that it doesn't look to be made of wood. You see a large sort of bulbous metal construction with tall, spindly, seemingly almost too weak to support the weight of the thing that it's carrying, metal spoke wheels sticking a little bit further out from it than maybe is necessary, and massive in size on both sides, two on each side. Lots of hatches and handles and glass all over it. And sort of sitting on the front of it in a position where you might have a coachman, you see a small red goblin. This goblin is very obviously on the older side for goblins. As goblins age, their ears get larger. And this one has these massive, wrinkly, bat-like ears, which gives you an indication of significant age. This would be an elder goblin. has sort of a blindfold over what looks like a blindfold over their face, except for a large, like metal and glass monocle-esque aspect on one side. Has a bit of wheat sticking out of his mouth, like he's just sort of chewing. Multiple piercings on the ears, hair cut in sort of like a short mohawk. Wearing this sort of patchwork leather gear with books and vials and all manner of accoutrement on it. One leg very clearly a stump, like a peg leg, and with a cane that seems to be made of clockwork, like sort of clockwork material. Just sitting, seemingly directing this caravan with nothing in his hands other than the cane and like a book. And as the sort of like large rolling thing sort of almost gets in the path of the caravan, but stops as your caravan, the gnome that leads your caravan, sort of hops out and waves and calls, "Hello there!" And then from the other caravan, pulling the bit of wheat out, "Oh, hello there. Would you mind terribly? Are you heading to Western?" "Yeah, we are." "Would you mind if we tag along? We're heading that way ourselves, but we sort of lost track of." Looks around. "Our guards." "Family." And he says as he looks over, and several of the hatches pop open, and you see a rainbow color of goblins, all pop out and sort of wave, varying degrees of age and variety. There are yellow goblins, blue goblins, green goblins, red goblins, sort of a multitudinous patchwork. And the elder goblin at the front. We're relic seekers. We're just heading to Western to offload our fare." And the caravan guard just nods and signals for them to join. You can all make insight checks if you like.
I was gonna say, is there something weird about the fact that they lost their guards?
Make an insight check.
23.
Also, are goblins naturally skittle colored in this setting?
Make an nature check. Because you've been on an island your whole life.
Yep.
Does the Green
10,
Goblin have a
because
flying
dice.
device and pumpkin bombs?
All right. So, starting with the nature check, Grouper, kind of yes. Goblins are environmentally reactive as a species. Basically, whatever environment a goblin is dumped in, they will adapt to it. And that includes changing basic features of their physiology, skin tone, all manner of things within a generational time frame. Like, it'll take 1 or 2 generations, and goblins breed quickly for them to have adapted to the environment. So you get goblins of all manner of colors depending on where their particular family hails from. If they're in a sort of a really hot environment, they'll end up being red goblins. If they're in a watery environment, they will end up turning blue and grow gills. If they are in a forest environment, they tend to be green. If they are underground, they tend to be pale, either purple or white. Any number of alterations to their environment changes the way they evolve, changes the way they adapt.
I love chameleon species.
Yes, that's exactly what goblins are. There are a few caveats that are contiguous throughout all the various different types of goblins, which is that they don't breed true. Whatever 2 different kinds of goblins can have a completely different kind of goblin child based on the environment that they're in. Ethereal scholars think that it's the latent natural magic of the area, the kind of magic that druids call upon, is what influences this, though they're not really certain exactly what it is. But they don't breed true, and the ears are the only 2 things that are consistent from goblin to goblin.
Is it fair to assume that the more cosmopolitan of us are already aware of this?
Yes, those of you that have been out and about, you definitely have seen a multitude of color of goblins, just in your travels, because goblins are everywhere. They might never be the most populous group in any particular area, but there are always goblins
they get
wherever you
around.
go. Yeah.
You can find goblins anywhere and everywhere.
Yes.
Jack, could you remind us what color the good goblins are?
I think they're all green.
Yeah, they're all green.
Okay, that was my memory, but I was like, ooh, am I being like assumptive
they're
based
all
on
green.
fairy tales? Okay,
No. All
right, cool.
The only goblins you ever met have been green.
All right, cool.
With the insight checks from Najka, you know what relic seekers are. Relic seekers are tradesmen. They are people that delve into forgotten ruins, both pre-calamity and not, and find artifacts, magical artifacts, and take them to market to trade. How you get lots of ancient artifacts that end up on the market for adventurers to buy come from relic seekers. Generally speaking, they are to be trusted. They are people that provide a valuable service. They do dangerous work, and they get paid very well for it. And it's sort of a relic seeker caravan is something of value to any city that it goes to. With the various insights that you have all made, except for Elafira, who's just not trusting in general.
Correct.
Yeah, no, this is what's happening here is that your caravan leader is recognizing a relic seeker caravan and going, if this comes with us to Western, it's prestigious for us, basically.
I had one bad experience with a relic seeker group at some point,
And it's enough.
Fuck them all.
You had there was this one dwarf relic seeker that you met that had a habit of triggering every single trap that he possibly could.
Yep.
He was drunk all the time too, which was really a big deal. But other than that,
Incompetent motherfuckers.
yeah. He kept going on about his extended family, one of whom was a chef.
That tracks. I'm still here. I'm just laying back.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as losing their guards, goblins are not culturally known to be the most focus-oriented creatures.
Species-wide ADHD.
Yes, they kind of have species-wide
They
ADHD.
wandered off in a direction, and their guards didn't watch them close enough. And so now there's two groups.
Their nature as adaptive creatures also reflects in their personality. They are highly adaptive, they are highly inquisitive, and they are highly investigative. They are not highly concerned about keeping track of things, though. And so either they hired guards and wandered off without them, or the guards fell into a hole and they didn't notice.
I just lean over to whichever of this group is closest to me and say they definitely killed their guards.
Najka will help coordinate the caravan into ours.
Yeah, no, it's pretty easy. Basically, just the lead caravan will move forward. The relic seeker caravan will sort of pull into the middle there, and then you'll just continue on in a single line. While they yeah, and you can see this is seems to be a fully automated mechanical vehicle of some kind that is presumably controlled by from the inside, considering the amount of goblins that are in it. But as they join the caravan, several goblins will hop out, mingle amongst the rest of the caravanners and the passengers and people. Offer to take a look anywhere that anyone wants to have appraised. The elder goblin actually will look over. Where is Martin Victoria at this point?
Alongside the caravan, walking along like one of the guards. Definitely not chomping at the bit and delighted to see a bunch of goblins here. Definitely not.
The elder relic seeker, who introduces himself as Vinda, and actually I will go ahead and in Slack give you guys.
And by definitely not, I mean I rolled a 13, and everybody but Ella rolled higher than that. So
Well, I was actually curious about that
Right?
because I feel like that's another thing I'd like to figure out. How emotive is Martin Victoria? Not the good goblins, but Martin Victoria.
Not very. It
Martin
doesn't really have an
Victoria
emotive face.
is not emotive.
That's
You can
see, that's what I
still
was
read
thinking.
my thinking is that you can still read the good goblins by how they pilot Martin Victoria.
Okay, okay,
Like when things get jerky, it's because somebody's having an emotion inside
okay.
and they're piloting sloppy because they're excited.
Because I was just picturing one of those like emotion alignment charts, and it's just identical pictures of Martin Victoria's robot face.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
So you all in Slack, you can see, and I'll put it on the screen for the people watching the stream. Um, the relic seeker in question.
That's fantastic.
100% killed his guards. That is
um,
a guard killing face.
Oh, but Martin Victoria is playing it cool right now.
So he actually go.
They're trying to appear like they don't care.
He will hop off off his caravan and start keeping pace as he maneuvers over towards Martin Victoria, and I'll look up. Ah, a fully functioning automaton. Tell me, have you had a look? Have you had a checkup in you recently?
Have done.
Getting all your bearings oiled and all your circuitry looked at?
Regular maintenance.
Good, good. If you need a hand with it, I happen to know my way around a few automatons and might be able to help with some problems you may be having. I've seen more than my fair share of your kind, he says, tapping the knee. Tapping the knee, pausing for a second, and then just nodding and waving as he heads back towards his caravan.
Najka was actually going. I think this is an appropriate moment. As Najka steps up, I tend to be doing most of the maintenance on Martin Victoria here. Najka says as she steps up and makes her presence known as sort of a cover for, yes, do not ask about the Aormaton. There's a mechanic here already. Leave it alone.
Ah, do you know much about automaton maintenance?
I've had to do a lot of learning as I go, unfortunately. Martin
may
Victoria is the
have-
first one I've ever encountered, but I've run into a few.
I
old
may
ruins.
have just the thing for you then, if you're interested. Come. And he'll sort of gesture
Quite.
for you to follow him. He'll
Martin
walk over.
Victoria will also follow.
Walk back over towards the caravan and smack on it with his cane. And you can see he's fairly nimble. Like, he's got the peg leg and he's using the cane to help move around with it, but he could probably move without it if he really wanted to. Smacks on the side with the cane, and just a whole. It doesn't look like it's a hatch, but a good 4-foot section of the side of the caravan just wings up, as if it was on hinges that you couldn't see. And you can see inside the caravan there is, in this particular section, there are sort of a variety of goblin-sized living quarters, stations, workstations, workshop, things like that, and a whole bunch of just seemingly completely unorganizable mess. And he hops up into the side. There's a couple of other goblins in there that are just fiddling with things, identifying things, writing stuff down in books. There's a whole bunch of paper all inside this this machine. And he just starts sorting through a pile. No, not that, not this, not that. No, maybe, but no, not that. And he'll eventually pull out a scroll. And he will walk back over, sit on the edge, so that he doesn't have to keep walking, and hold it up to you. And you can see it's a fully sealed scroll, but with a little tag on the side of it. Do you read Goblin?
That's a good question. What languages do I have? I know I'm learning.
If not, Martin Victoria will translate it.
I speak Common, Dwarvish, and Orcish. So no.
Yeah. So yeah, in Goblin it says, and Martin Victoria can translate it for you. In Goblin it says recovered maintenance instructions and rituals for Aormaton security.
Aye, that'd be quite useful.
Well, it's one of the various relics that we've found on our more recent dig. Useful for investigating or repairing any automatons we might find. Though I do wonder how you are maintaining a automaton with such hollow bones. He says, looking at Martin Victoria.
Let's just
Martin
say
Victoria just stares.
let's just say it's a bit of careful work, and probably best.
Make an insight check, good goblins.
Yeah,
And Nashka.
yeah.
Lean into whoever I'm next to again. Feel like it's probably Tenebris.
No inspiration.
Go ahead.
I have no inspiration.
Oh, you have no inspiration.
Hollow bones, clearly staking out vulnerabilities.
With the 21, Najka, you realize that the one knock he did on the knee was all he needed to hear that there wasn't the correct workings inside the automaton. This is a guy that has spent a lot of time around automatons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's piecing together. Yeah, she also. Let's just say that it is a very careful bit of work and probably not best tampered with.
Well, it's none of my business, but if you do want any assistance with it, feel free to ask. Otherwise, this scroll will be going on the market as soon as we reach restaurants, so keep an eye out for it, and we'll see if you can get a fair price. We have a bargain, you see, with the merchants in Western. We're not to sell any of our goods before we get to them, but we are not restricted from letting people know what our goods are before we get there.
Fair enough. Do you think you might be willing to trade the services of a craftsman in exchange for some potential pieces?
Well, we can't do it before we get to Western, but after we've sold our stock, whatever we've got left, we could possibly set up a bargain.
Fair enough.
We don't.
And
we,
if
nev-
in the
we
mean-
never sell. We never sell all of our stuff in one place. We just have a agreement with Restron when we are going there that they get first dibs.
Fair enough. And of course, if en route you've need of any assistance, my services are always available.
Certainly, we appreciate it.
Clarify for me out of care. Aren't we going somewhere else before we go to Western?
No, we're
No.
going somewhere
No,
else
Western
after we
Western
go
is the
to
first
Western.
stop.
Okay.
You're going somewhere else after you go to Western.
Okay.
Yeah, Western is the first stop.
Right idea, wrong direction.
That's right. We're going Western and then and eventually Amon.
Western. To
Yeah, we're going
Kaiman.
Western, Kymel, Iman.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Grand
so
tour.
this oddly cheerful, not oddly cheerful, but this oddly mechanical caravan that seems to work in ways that defy expectation, has joined the caravan and is trundling along. Jack.
Martin Victoria is going to go to the opposite side of the caravan from them. And go over to Ella and say, the goblins are dangerous.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
They know
Not
too
because
much
they're goblins, but because.
about gadgeteering.
Narshka will
What do you
sort
need?
of follow after
Hang
and
on,
sort of
hang on.
indicate.
You have a job to do right now. You actually can't just
Yeah,
wander behind.
Yeah, but she did want to get a conversation in at some point with Martin Victoria. Over mental link, preferably.
You can always
What
ask
do
them
you
to go.
need?
Yeah. Anyways,
We think we need to stay away from them.
Do we need them? Do we need them to go away?
No,
I didn't. Not that way. I mean, I don't know what way you assume, but based off that tone, I feel like you're thinking that I'm insinuating something I'm not.
I will say, Jeremy, regardless of what Elafir's personal feelings on relic seekers are, they are allies of the Cobalt Soul.
That's fair.
Yeah, as an organization, as an overall organization,
That
they are
doesn't. Yeah,
allies.
that doesn't change anything.
No, no, no.
But
Any
Ella
this
knows that
conversation at
each
all.
individual one in the organization is a piece of shit.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm not trying to change the way you're performing. I just wanted to let you know that
Absolutely.
because that
No,
may
that is
affect
a
decision
good.
making.
That is a good reminder. I think because I think I knew. Anyways, but yeah, that doesn't change anything because she was legitimately not talking about like secretly killing them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I mean like
Tenebris to himself.
convince them to go elsewhere.
Tenebris to himself beside Ella. Is like, I thought she was gonna talk about killing them.
Oh, Morton Victoria looks
Very
over their
disturbed about
shoulder
what you all think of me.
in the direction of them and says, "We would like to be their friends, but we think they might be too dangerous."
All right. Well, I will keep an eye on them if you need me. If they come over and you need me to intervene, not in the killing way, to be clear.
We think if
Let
they
me
don't
know.
touch us, it will help.
Okay. Yeah, if they come over and talk and you just need someone to come in and distract them, let me know.
Morton Victoria nods.
All right. Also, if you do need someone to kill them, I'm not saying that I won't kill for you. I'm just saying that was not where I was going with that.
Morton Victoria puts a hand on your back. If we need someone to kill for us, you will be the first one we ask.
I don't have to be the first. I'm not bloodthirsty. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, Nashka, if you want to have a conversation over Psychic Link, you can always just ask Davina because Davina I think is further up the caravan. So
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she'll ask Davina, could you set up a psychic link with me and the good goblins?
I'll have to be part of it, though.
That's fair. That's fine.
Okay.
Real quick after
Yep.
after Martin Victoria falls out of step with Ella, Tenebris will turn to her as like, I didn't mean as a personality trait that you were going to go to violence, but calling them dangerous, my thought was on violence first.
No, they're
Not on your side.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair. I'm just point. That's where I'm. Yeah. Go ahead.
Davina will set up a mental link.
Hey there, you three. Over the
Hello.
mental. I wanted to ask a question now that it crossed my mind that I came to the realization. Don't have to answer if you don't feel like it, but I realized that never actually found out why you three keep this guys up in particular.
Meanie Manny answers and says it's Pease told you about our home, right?
A little bit. Understand that Peace communicates the way that Pease does. No offense, Pease. I got bits and pieces.
We're looking for the person responsible. And when you've murdered an entire city of goblins, and you hear a goblin is asking questions, you stop being where they can ask questions about you.
Fair
So we
point.
aren't a goblin anymore.
Fair enough. I don't think in that particular case, though, that a group of goblins is something that you need to be too worried about finding out what's inside the shell.
We'd rather be wrong and unidentified than wrong and identified.
That's that's absolutely a fair point.
well,
I'm not going to tell you to do one way or the other.
It would destroy the Good Goblins' worldview to find out that the adventurers that killed all their people were other goblins.
Turns out it was specifically the goblins that joined up with us, wasn't it?
Specifically these goblin.
I knew it.
It was that one in particular.
Yep. You jovial old
And
man, you're
it's
a
not
murderer.
really something you can put back in the bottle.
That's fair. Yeah. Just wanted to try and get a better understanding. Yep. Well, I will continue to cover where needed.
Peace says thank you for that.
All
And that
right.
he wants the
The scroll.
document that they have.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get our hands on that scroll when we get to town. Might give us some insight into Martin Victoria, if nothing else.
So, the remaining few days of your trip are going to go by uneventfully. The relic seekers are when you stop to camp, they erect several pillars that they sort of extract from the caravan and sort of plant them at the corners of the campsite, and they generate this visible electrical field that sort of like arcs between the pillars and let everyone know, as long as we're inside this, basically nothing that we don't allow can get in. So you can relax. And to prove it, one of them actually goes outside the field. They turn it on, and it's a small yellow one. Just runs in full and tries to just like tackle through the field. And you watch as soon as it crosses the horizontal between two pillars, there's just a field of electricity that strikes the goblin, and you can sort of see the cartoonish like X-ray effect as it hits and then bounces off. There's a bit of smoke, but the goblin seems to be fine as they deactivate it, and the yellow one steps up and comes back in, and they turn it back on. So basically saying that as long as we've got these up, you really don't have to worry about watches.
Is he yellow because his parent was the one testing out the field first?
Possibly.
Lightning adapted goblin. That's why they get to be the crash test dummy, because they can handle it.
You can ask. Do you ask?
No, not me anyway.
Does Tinderverse ask?
No.
No? All right. So, you get a sort of a sense of there's almost like an almost childlike innocence to the entire group, except for the elder. The best way to describe them is bouncy, all of them. As they just wander up and down the caravan, around throughout everyone else, just chatting away, looking at things. They never try to sell anything. And all of you will at some point can get the understanding that they have already promised first pick to the city of Western. But they do offer to like analyze, investigate, appraise anything anyone wants. And they, a couple of things do get appraised to be a higher value than the merchant carrying it originally thought it was going to be. They don't take it; they just appraise it and go, "Yeah, this is what it is," and then leave it with the person. They seem to really mostly be in it for the gaining of knowledge. Relic seekers are known to be typically ardent followers of the Knowing Mother, so knowledge is their thing.
Martin Victoria is continuing to have a hard time watching them from the other side of the camp.
And none of them approach Martin Victoria after the Relic Seeker did the initial check-in. None of them approach or bother Martin Victoria.
The good goblins very clearly want to go bounce around with some goblins, but they are not doing it.
Ella is doing the subtly watching them like a fucking hawk.
Make another insight check. Ella here.
Okay. Feel like I should give myself disadvantage because of
Establishing a
situations.
preconceived notion.
I won't, but I feel like I should. 18.
With 18, regardless of your previous interactions with relic seekers, you're pretty confident these ones are not here to murder anybody. Having watched them for at least a day now.
Fair enough. They could still get people killed.
They could do
because-
that, absolutely. But you're pretty certain they're not. Their objective isn't that.
If we have a couple nights, some downtime, right?
Yeah, so the travel has become significantly safer at this point with the relic seekers. So you will have a couple of nights of downtime before you get to Westruun. So if there's anything you want to do in those nights, either amongst yourselves or with the new attaches, let me know.
I would like to ask them about the bracers, the Nature's Grasp.
Cool. Yeah.
Just find out if they know anything about them.
So you approach the goblins. We'll say Venda, the elder will take a look at you. What is it you want to know about them?
Honestly, like, we found them. Making sure I remember correctly, they were in a web sack, right?
Yeah, they
something
were
had been
they were
eaten
on
by-
a body that had been eaten.
Yeah. It belonged to somebody who ran afoul of some spiders in the woods. If they belong to someone specific, I'd love to be able to let their family know. But even if not, if they're a more common thing, I'd love to hear a little bit more about them.
He'll ask if you could remove one and hand it to him.
Sure, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you can pull it
And
off
I'll
easy.
just sort of peel off the ivy.
Yep. He'll take it and look at it. You'll see. You'll watch the little monocle that is there. Will just sort of stereoscope out and back in a few times as it sort of zooms in on the item, and he's just running it past. You can also tell up close. You can tell he has both eyes. Just one's covered for aesthetic reasons, apparently.
Sure.
And he looks it over back and forth. Well, this is not a particularly ancient relic. This is a sort of a pattern, actually. This is a type of device that druids have developed over the centuries to enhance their connection with the wild inside and their wilderness forms. It provides some tangible benefits to your transformations as well as to your untransformed abilities, and seems to be sort of a personalized construct. Every druid eventually might come up with the idea to make something like this, and each design will be slightly different, but it's sort of based off of a common understanding. I'm not sure where that common understanding comes from. I'm not a druid myself, but doesn't seem to be particularly unique, is what I'm saying.
If it's any use, I could offer a little bit of insight. Sometimes people try to run away from you, and you don't want them to.
That's never been the case with me, but I understand why it might be with you.
Well, thank you. Do you know anything about any particular group that might have pursued this particular knowledge in a more sort of ivy type style?
I mean, the obvious would be the Ashari, one of the various Ashari clans.
I've heard of them, but not.
There's also the wandering herds of Goliaths that have druids of their own occasionally, that wander the dividing plains and further south. There's the. You say they were eaten by spiders?
Yeah, or I don't know. I've never heard of spiders that scavenge, so probably they were definitely in a web.
Yeah, no, given that, then definitely either one of the regional Ashari tribes or possibly a druid from one of the wandering herds.
Can I think back to the body? Was it big? Actually, I don't know. I don't think I saw it. I think Najka found it.
Martin Victoria found it.
Martin Victoria found it. Okay.
Yeah, you don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Certainly.
I'll dig around in my pack for a little bit and pull out a How many goblins have I seen outside the thing?
Sort of, it's hard to tell because they move in and out of the in and out of the automated caravan so often. But your general estimation, based on the size of the caravan and how many you have seen, there's probably 24 goblins in this caravan.
Okay. I don't have that many fish rations, but I'll pull out five packs of smoked dried fish and say, "Thanks very much."
Oh, thank you very much. This will be enjoyed immediately. He says, he sort of like hands it off behind him, and you watch just like uh, four differently colored pairs of hands just reach out and grab and chunk back into the caravan.
Grouper, that brings a genuine smile to Grouper's face, and he just sort of nods, wraps the ivy back around his wrist, and then goes back to watching over the caravan leader.
All right. Anything else over the course of the next few days? Otherwise, we're gonna jump straight to Western. Good.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I think Martin Victoria is going to take a night or two to work up to it, but is going to come over with the armature,
Okay.
because they want more information about that, and let the dude know that we have data missing. What do you know of this? We have incomplete data.
He'll hold his hands up. May I?
Mm-hmm.
We'll take it. Look at it. Intriguing. I have seen blueprints for this before. I didn't realize that it ever got made. What you're looking at is, this is, from my understanding at least, something referred to as an armature, which was the intention, as far as I've been able to piece together from my studies and research. This was an attempt by pre-calamity civilizations to create. There's always people trying to create a newer, sharper, fancier sword. Well, this was their pinnacle attempt, basically. The newest, sharpest, fanciest sword. The armature, hence the name. They were making a variety of different templates. And the idea was that it was supposed to be powered by various magical artifice, and then enhanced over the course of several iterative cycles. This seems to be not the complete device, I will say. The blueprints that I saw it looked like this was the base, but there was definitely more added to it. Where did I see those blueprints at? And there's a bang on the caravan, and a blue head pops out. And I'll turn back. Would you find the travel journals for the Verdant Expanse? Yes, that was where we found it. Yes. And duck back in. Eventually, come back with a stack of books. Hand them over. He sort of very rapidly flips through several of them. Here we are. We found a pre-calamity ruin that we are 75% certain is a fallen sky city. Beneath the Westal waters, south of Tormore Falls, along the Storm Point mountain range. Beneath the waters, there was what seemed to be the remains of a pre-calamity sky city that had crashed there long ago, perhaps longer than there was a lake there. Perhaps it's the reason why there's a lake there, who knows. But in there, we had found blueprints referring to an armature that had been being constructed by a different city. There seemed to have been some level of upgrade facilities there. It seemed like it was meant to be one of the various places that this blade would stop at on its journey to being complete. But as far as I could tell, it never arrived. And now that I see it's in your hands, I assume it was with you, he says, handing it back.
Oh. We appreciate the location data. We are missing a lot of location data.
Certainly. If you have any other questions you'd like me to answer, or at least try to?
We are interested in other places you have located flying cities.
Well, let me go through my notes. When we get to Westrun, why don't you join us at our caravan? And we can go over my notes.
They'll nod.
Might be able to be a
Off
bit more
on the other
comfortable.
side,
Might be able to be a bit more.
narrowed eyes.
Might be able to be a bit more comfortable there. He said that part in Goblin.
So Martin Victorian nods and stands up and turns around and walks away. And I would like to make an insight check.
Go ahead.
I made a mark on the map. I hope that is acceptable.
Yeah. Here, I will put it.
In my head, they're taking a literal note on their literal map.
Yeah. I'll put that basically where he indicated.
When he started off saying he couldn't remember, I 100% thought he was going to be like a shoe shine guy in a 40s movie. Oh yeah, yeah. I think I remember, but yeah, I could.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
So 18. What was the insight check in regards to?
Saying the last part in Goblin seemed a little pointed.
Oh, you're pretty confident that he knows that there's at least one goblin inside Martin Victoria. Make a history check with advantage because of Martin Victoria.
I can look it up on the computer as I go.
See, I've been watching the CNN The Decade docu-series, and I'm on the 80s one. So when I heard I don't remember, all I could think of is, I don't recall.
With a 20 on history check, you realize there were a lot of societal problems with the pre-calamity civilization. One of them was there were no goblins living in the flying cities. So the fact that you understood Goblin was probably a giveaway.
I have been around a long time. Goblins have been around a long time now.
They have been.
Yeah,
That's
but
an easy thing to put into
isn't
the computers.
Goblin isn't one of those languages that is so commonly and required to use that an automaton might want to learn it just out of hand.
Yep.
And also, he's already
An
pegged.
automaton might want to learn anything.
He's already pegged that you're hollow, so it's the combination of the two things.
Hollow mech, probably someone inside, and that someone speaks Goblin.
Probably a goblin would be the estimation that he's made.
Yeah, but he hasn't done anything about it.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
Or even approached me about it.
He said he would be respectful and keep his distance, and he has.
Yeah. And that's helping.
Anyone else before you to Western?
I think Ella is just mostly has reverted to being sort of on the periphery of everyone. Very watching people, even though she is not a guard and is specifically chose not to do guard duty and is sitting on the on one of the caravans, is very much keeping an eye out on everybody and making sure everybody is okay, but is otherwise kind of keeping to herself.
All right. So, Tenebris, anything from you?
Just people watching.
Davina, anything from you?
She's been very quiet since the conversation that night, and she's just keeping to herself.
All right. So the days pass relatively quickly and quietly. Having relic seekers in your caravan seems to make it easier to travel quickly and with less concern for danger. And after a few days, you finally reach the end of your 2-week journey in Westron. Now let me go grab a book real quick so I can describe Westron to you.
Yeah.
I got the for those watching, I got the Beetle and Grimm's Arcane Edition of the Exandria
Nice.
Reborn book, and or the Tal'Dorei Reborn book, and it's really good. The biggest problem with it though is that the all of the books they separate out all the chapters into different books, which is useful, except for when you're looking for specifically where one thing is.
That's fair.
I would imagine you're looking for the Gazetteer for Western.
Yeah, which I got it.
Oh, you should. If you don't want to physically look for it going forward, you should have access to it on the place.
Yeah, I know. I just like the.
I'm gonna say D&D Beyond because it sounds like I'm doing a secret,
Right,
a secret like this pirated place that I don't want to say online. No, it's just D&D Beyond because shared campaigns.
Yeah. No. I like touching the book. It feels good in my hands.
Absolutely fair.
I just have to, because it's all sorted by the areas of Tal'Dorei, and so I have to remember where we are. And then get over to it. There it is. Okay. So yes. You can sort of see Westron before you get to it, because it is the single biggest city in the middle of nothing. Kind of like any big city in the Midwest, where there's just lots of nothing around it and then city. There are miles and miles of farmlands and fields that surround it, and then there are just towering stone walls that cut the city off from the rest of the landscape and make it sort of stand out very distinctly. And so you see the walls well before you actually get close enough to it to get in. Any of you that have been there before can tell the others that haven't been there that it's the city's interior is divided into 6 distinct wards. The Scholars Ward, the Temple Ward, the Opal Ward, the Residential Ward, the Market Ward, and the Underwalk Ward. You're going to be heading in to the Southwestern Ward, which is the Market Ward. That's where the caravan is heading. That's where you will be paid for your services, and then where the relic seekers will sort of break off from the rest of the caravan and head off to do their thing. Fortunately, they are very easy to find and follow if you so desire, so you shouldn't have any problem keeping up with them if you want to go check out what they might have left after they're done selling their wares. You get into town very easily. You don't need to really go through. This is a known caravan. The caravan leader talks with the guards at the gate for a moment, explaining where they are, who they are. The relic seekers are with them, which adds an additional level of credibility. And you are all ushered through. what I will need to do is go on D&D Beyond so I can grab the map and put it up and put you guys on the map of Western so you can see what the city looks like.
Welcome to Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas.
Yes.
Yep.
As opposed to Kansas City, Kansas.
In Missouri. I still find Kansas City to be a hilarious place because it is on the border of 2 states and occupies both of them.
Mhm.
And is named
split
after
by a
one of
river.
them.
Look, borders are a hell of a thing.
It's mostly us.
There it is. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba.
Like it's Kansas City, but the majority of it is in Missouri.
The Kansas side's mostly industrial.
Someone's
I've heard-
Kansas spreading.
I've heard everything is up to date there.
Huh?
I'm
In
not
Kansas City.
acknowledging.
I have no idea what that joke is about.
Well, if you don't figure it out, there's going to be trouble.
Oh, I see now. You're making a Music Man reference.
I am indeed.
I'm not caring too much about showing you the version with landmarks because then I don't have to uncover them as you discover them. And some of you have been in the city before.
And technically it's Oklahoma, I believe. But the second one was Music Man.
I have never seen Oklahoma before.
Yes, you had to reference not just
Okay.
the worst musical, but the 2 worst musical.
I will have words with you.
To be fair, produced musicals. I don't consider Spider-Man Turn Off the Night to have been a produced musical, even though it was staged.
Just because it was staged doesn't mean a producer was involved.
Clearly it wasn't, considering how many people nearly died. I'm sorry, I hate them both. And I was in one of them in high school.
I don't know if we can be friends.
Which one?
Music Man,
Wait, who are you?
just chorus.
I played Winthrop when I was a kid.
I always
hate
wanted
them
to
both.
be in Music Man.
To be fair, it goes like if we talk about bad musicals, there's a big group. Music Man is here. Oklahoma is like up here past the screen. That's how far ahead Oklahoma is in the discussion of worst musicals.
So that much worse than?
That much worse than everything else.
Yeah, okay.
I really hate Oklahoma.
I mean, what's
The
so bad about-
musical,
what's so bad about the
not
state?
the state Oklahomans.
Maybe Oklahoma just hates you.
I haven't been to the state yet, so
Obviously,
I can't pass
Oklahoma-
judgment. It might be that bad.
Obviously, Oklahoma hates me. I'm a
All right.
bisexual Wiccan.
All right, so you can now see the city of Western on your map, on your screens there in front of you. We are going into the market ward.
Did we ever drive through Oklahoma on our trip?
Oklahomophobe.
I don't know. If we did, it doesn't register.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think any of the other states registered until we got to Utah.
Oh,
So yeah, coming into the southern entrance, you basically immediately hook a left after you get past the gates and go directly into the market ward. And yeah, you are all paid. Do you remember how much you were getting paid, or do I need to look that back up?
You need to look that back
Look
up
that
because
up.
I do not remember it. It's been way too long.
All right,
I did not write it down because I was not getting paid.
that's fair.
All I remember is that Grouper and I were getting the elevated rate for being bodyguards.
Was it?
Hang on, and I'll tell you. I just remember that Tenebris rolled well enough to get paid and then decided not to.
Yeah. I forgot that. That was great.
Just decided he did poorly and ran away.
Yep.
Oh, man. I don't think decided he did poorly. I think he's just like, nope, I don't want to.
Change the
Nah.
mind.
It was like, I don't feel like I did well enough for this. I'm just gonna pay and not
That's
worry
funny.
about it. Which is probably good considering he hid most of the time for the spider fight. I can't
That's not
imagine that
very
would have
good
got.
guard behavior.
Yeah,
He might
I
have gotten
can't.
fired.
I can't imagine it going well if he was a guard.
Najka will never turn down an opportunity to make more money because craftsman is the most money-intensive thing in the world.
I feel like if you're high charisma, you could just hide throughout an entire fight. And then when people try to call you on it, you're like, yeah, I know. I'm a rogue.
I have a charisma of 18. Maybe I'll try that next time.
That would be hilarious. You're like,
Funny.
All right. So
people are like, I didn't see you. You're like, thank you.
That's because I'm good at my job.
Najka and Grouper both get 20 gold. And then the good goblins got 10 gold.
Hell yeah.
All right. Because that was it was the full length of the thing. All right. So you've been paid off. The caravan thanks you for your assistance, and they begin unloading their stuff and setting up stalls as the goblin caravan continues on towards its place where it begins selling its stuff. So you are all in Westron. What you want to do?
Najka would like to follow up now that the Goblin Caravan is getting set up and see about that scroll.
I mean, they're gonna be
Goblin
a while.
caravan.
They're gonna be a while selling stuff before you can actually buy anything off them.
Yeah, fair enough.
That would probably be a better maybe tomorrow check-in thing.
Can I have retroactively asked Martin Victoria how big the corpse was that had the bracers?
Sure.
Okay.
And I remember this.
Give me a history check.
I don't recall any of them being mentioned as being particularly big.
It would be specifically like, do you think it was a Goliath?
You didn't note anything significant about the skeleton, so you don't remember how big it was, which means it probably wasn't that big.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll mention that.
Okay. That's all.
Do we have? Did we? I feel like I would know this, but again, it's been a long time. Did we have a specific goal for Western, or
So Westron is a center of trade, and the idea,
Right.
in addition to coming here just because it's on the way to Kymel, was to see if you could track money as far as the torchbearers are concerned. See if you can figure out where their money is coming from, if they're doing anything in the city, tracking their activities, things like that.
okay?
Davina was going to go off on her own.
Okay.
She wanted to ask around. She's trying to find. Well, she's going to ask around for general information if they know torchbearers have been around. But then she also wanted to try to ask around. She's trying to find Hawk, I believe his name was.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check. What else? So that's what Davina's doing. Everyone else?
My first thought is, I mean, obvious choice would be go check with the Cobalt Reserve.
Okay. Which you can.
Anybody
do.
wants to come with, or
Penderverse will tag along.
okay?
My mind is totally blanking on how the good goblins would go about seeking information. I'm just empty.
Would you like to make a roll?
Walk
and
up to
see-
people, ask if. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you know
I
what
was making a
information you
joke.
would want to be seeking?
About the torchbearers, and they probably make a point of checking to see where people care about the relics. It like the ancient ruins in cities. That's probably been their MO.
Okay. So the market
Oh,
district then, probably.
because
Or a scholar district.
all of the information they've been after has come from somebody is interested in this. I want to know more about them.
Okay. Go and give me an investigation check from the good goblins then.
Just walk up to random people, pick them up. Are you a torchbearer? No. Whoosh. Go to next
So
person.
remember, the Torchbearers are a public-facing charity organization.
I know.
So
I was making a joke.
yeah, I wanted to put that out there for the players as a whole because
The people would know about.
there are going to be there might be Torchbearers publicly doing charity stuff in the city right now,
Mm-hmm.
and they aren't necessarily the Torchbearers you're looking for.
It's like how cults
Yeah.
segment information. All you know is that we
if
do
you-
charity.
Yeah.
You only got recruited to do charity. We don't trust you enough to let you in on the next level up.
If you go
But once
bust
we
up,
do-
if you go bust up a charity like a charity event run by Torchbearers because it's run by Torchbearers, you will go to jail. Is what's going to happen. That's why I'm above table for players. So
Celestial seasonings.
as a way of like letting you an idea of how you might want to look into things.
Does
Get
Davina
banned from
remember?
restaurant.
Holly,
Does Davina remember where she was when she was recruited by the Torchbearers?
you were in Amon.
I was in one. Okay.
Yeah.
Is she sneaking off, or is she saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go ask around"?
She doesn't say. She sort of just slips off. Like she's not necessarily trying to be sneaky. It's just when people are doing things, because she's been kind of quiet and keeping to herself, she just kind of slips off.
Out of characters is a thing you definitely want to do just by yourself.
Oh no, you can totally follow me. That's fine.
Okay.
So Elefira and Tenebris are heading towards Cobalt Reserve. Good goblins are asking around the market ward and the scholar ward. Nashka.
Nashka is seeing to the practical concerns of our continued journey. She's going to see if there's any work or caravans within the next week or so that will take us towards Kymel as our next stop.
Is anybody going to
the trek?
figure out where you're going to stay for the evening?
Yeah, that is on her list as well. But
Okay.
she's trying to, she's nailing down the practical details.
Gotcha. And Tenebris is going with Elefira. Grouper, what are you doing? You're going with Davina.
Yeah, I mean, unless she's
Yeah.
expressing that she really wants to be by herself.
So she was just sort of slipping off. Does she know you're coming with her, or are you just following her?
If you just disappear and sneak away, I mean, I guess you're gone. If he sees you leaving, he would ask where you're going.
Like I said, she's just wandering off when people are doing things. She's not trying to sneak.
What's your
so-
passive perception, Grouper? I'm going to handle this now
it's-
since both of you are being non
20, I'm pretty certain.
Stupid high. Yeah, it's 20. Yeah.
Okay, you see Davina just walk off. It's not that she's sneaking off, it's just that she's not telling anybody where she's going, and she just walks off. And you see it because you have a high passive perception.
I will. Is there a psychic link up right now or no?
No, not currently.
All right. He turns and toddles after her to if he can catch up and go, "Hey, Vina, really had a
Um,
Can I come with?"
she'll just nod.
Okay.
Right.
I'll just follow. If she seems like she wants to be quiet, Grouper will be quiet.
So, Grouper, you can make an investigation check as well. Nod can make an investigation check. And we'll get Ella Fear's investigation check based on what happens to Cobalt Reserve when you get there.
No worries.
21.
10.
Start with Davina. Davina and Grouper. Grouper, yeah, you're looking around, listening, talking to people. There is actively a sort of a charity fundraiser happening that the Torchbearers are raising for, and you get the understanding that this is a disability drive. Functionally, they are raising funds to provide prosthetic limbs to people that have lost limbs in farming accidents or in military conflict or in mercenary work, in order to help people get back, take back a little bit of control of their lives and give them a sense of self-control. And they're actively they have a sort of the fundraiser event that's going on is in the Opal Ward under near the statue of the Black King. They are, they've sectioned off. They've worked with the city guard to section off a small place where they can have like a sort of a tent and facility. And there's an artificer that is fitting people with these magically attuned prosthetics so that they can regain bits of their limbs. And they're raising fundraisers so they can do this again in another city. So you all, the two of you, I assume, head that way to gather information.
She was also asking about Hawk.
Yeah, I know.
Did she find anything out about that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because you a guy named Hawk.
Yeah. She has to go on.
As you get to the location, there's a big crowd of people that's sort of that's sort of surrounding this it's a tent, but the sides are all open. They're not hiding anything that's happening in the tent. And you can see that there's an artificer that is in the tent attaching a prosthetic leg to a person who very clearly didn't have a leg up to like the hip. And they're just chanting magic, using some chalk to mark some things, and you watch as, and everyone can watch as this sort of like this mechanical leg fuses itself to the hip bone. Painlessly. The person that it's attaching to doesn't seem to react to it at all. And after a few minutes, this person is able to get up on their own and start walking around for the first time in seemingly a long time, based on their very intense emotional reaction. And
Those bastards.
there are buckets and things around that people are putting money into to donate to help raise funds. And you can see that there's like the torchbearer symbol that you're all familiar with is there on like a banner, and the words on it associating with it are, bearing the light of tomorrow to help others today, is sort of the general saying that they're going with, and as they are providing the service.
Rupert's reaction there put me in mind of that stupid meme. There's only one thing worse than a murderer. Pull the tag away. A child.
Grouper, in your head you hear, "This is why I had joined them, to try to help."
Cooper looks up at you, sort of nodding, a little pain in his face, and you hear, "It's a very convincing show. I hope you're not giving yourself a hard time."
No, I want to get closer. I want to
Okay.
make sure they see me. If any of them recognize me, then that will be a clue.
You hear in your head, Davina, "What are you doing?"
Does Grouper hear that, or is that just
Only
Davina?
you.
Who is this?
There is you get the
Is she-
it's a wordless impulse of "come with me," and there is a hand on your elbow, not grabbing it, but like palm to it to let you know that there's a person there.
Does she recognize this voice?
You do. Do you turn to look?
I mean, I'm
yeah,
looking.
she'll turn to look.
Grouper, you have no idea that anything's happening right now.
I don't see this?
There's a hand on
You see,
the person.
you're in a
sitting
crowd.
right
You're
next
in
to
a
her.
crowd. There's a person next to her. There's also a person next to you, and like 3 other people around you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in a crowd. turning to look, you see a humanoid wearing a sort of a red hood over himself, but you can see white hair coming down out of it, purple eyes, sort of pinkish glowing tattoos, and like sort of 5 o'clock shadowish beard. Hawk, the person that you had last
Okay.
seen when you had left. His palm on your elbow and like mentally to you, giving you the impression of follow me, but not actually using the words. And then he just drops the hand from your elbow and moves through the crowd in one direction.
Okay, Grouper, you will hear in your head, come with me, I'll explain in a minute. And she
Okay.
grabs your hand and starts
Sure.
following.
We're going away, I assume, from the torchbearers.
Yes.
Right.
And I will
Yep.
show you once again in Slack. Hawk.
How wild is this crowd that doesn't stand out to Grouper?
Well, he's got his hood is up and he's like
Okay.
fully cloaked right now.
Okay.
It's a dude in a red hood right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right now it's just a dude in a cloak.
Smash.
For the audience, you can now see him as well. He maneuvers through the crowd deftly. Nobody touches him. It's like they subconsciously part without knowing that he's there. And you notice that no one is looking at him except for you. Grouper, you don't know what Davina is following.
You're
No-
being perception filtered.
No one but you seems to even be aware that he's there, Davina.
Okay.
He leads you out of the crowd and then sort of down an alleyway and then down a set of stairs that takes you underground into what seems like at one point it was a cellar, but is now sort of a thoroughfare. And by this point, you're no longer in a crowd. And yeah, Grouper, there's no one here but you and Davina, as far as you can tell.
Why are we down here?
Have we stopped, or is she still following him?
He has moved to like sort of a brazier that's on the wall. Brazier, not brazier. Brazier. Similar
I was
words,
gonna
but
say.
different.
Hey,
A brazier on the wall. Grabs it, twists, and there is a stone wall just slides open. You do see the stone wall sliding open, Grouper. And he steps
With
into it.
seemingly no one interacting with it at all.
Yeah.
Davina doesn't respond to Grouper right away. She just pulls his hand. Just, come on.
Vino, you know I trust you, but where is this?
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
She's pulling him aggressively now.
Yeah, okay. Why are we going into a hole underground in a city we
Trust
don't know?
me. Just trust me.
Okay,
I'll
I do.
explain in a minute.
I do.
The door slides closed behind you. At the bottom of the stairs that this door opened up to, you find what looks like a bit of a lived-in space. It's definitely not meant to have been a lived-in space. You assume this was at one point like a secret storehouse, but it has been converted into a hideout for one, basically. Upon getting there, he turns around, pulls the hood back, and you can see the full like wild length of white hair as he looks at the two of you, and then out loud he says, though Grouper, you still don't hear it, "Can he be trusted?"
My brother.
Vina, if you took me down here to talk to me about
At this point,
Elefira again,
Grouper, you now realize that there's a person here, and that there has been a person. Your memory now has him there the entire time. You remember Davina having been following him. Now,
You now realize that he's been there the whole time.
yeah.
God damn it!
Is his name Sam Reich?
Can I roll to see if I know what just happened to me?
Make an Arcana check.
25.
With 25, you're not. It definitely wasn't magic, or at least not magic as you understand it. But based on who Davina is, you assume some sort of psionic power was keeping you from realizing he was there.
Is that a high enough roll, or would it be a different roll to be satisfied that it wasn't Davina doing it?
Definitely wasn't Davina doing it.
Okay.
You've never seen Davina do something like that before.
Okay. Well, to be fair, up until like a month ago, I'd never seen Davina do any of this
That's
shit.
fair,
But still.
but yeah, like that's a pretty powerful effect, even if you don't understand what's doing it.
Okay.
Grouper, this is Hawk.
Hi. Sorry about that.
Do I hear that out loud or in my head? Hawk. Do I hear Hawk in my head or out loud?
Hawk is
I'm
talking out
debating.
loud.
Okay.
Yeah, she will speak out loud right now when she says that.
Okay. Hi.
He looks back to Davina. We were supposed to all scatter. What are you doing back here?
Did scatter. I came back though
Why?
with a group. Answers
Fair.
and to take down the torchbearers.
You mean insight check? Based on the look on his face.
Insight check for the "Are you insane?"
10.
expression. I feel like.
It's hard to. His
17?
his face is hard to read. But Grouper with a 17. It's not disbelief in your ability to take down the torchbearers. It's disbelief in that being your goal, given that you were standing outside one of their charity fronts with people that don't know anything, kind of thing. Like, I guess that's a lot for an insight check. But basically, it's like you're doing it wrong if that's what you're here for. Is the kind of look on his face is what the look on his face is saying.
First of all, I'm not here alone. Beyond him, she says, pointing at Grouper. There's a group of us, and they know what has happened to me.
Okay.
Davina has a posse.
They're my friends from before. And many of them were looking into the torchbearers for various reasons. And so we were investigating.
Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, it's been rough.
Why are you here?
Because I'm patient zero, and this is kind of personal.
So you were the first?
Yeah, I'm the person whose abilities I'm the person who I'm the reason what happened to you in an oblique sense. I'm the person whose abilities they were trying to awaken in others. Which is why
What
when that
happened
woman
to
crashed through, I
Rook?
got you all out. Rook? Right.
She's the mentor of one of my friends.
Small world.
What? I don't remember a lot aside from pain.
That's a good thing. I mean, the pain's bad, but
What was happening?
so in order to awaken powers like mine, the normal. Okay. My powers are innate. They come from who I am, from my family, from my people. In others, there might be the potential for it, but it doesn't awaken naturally. Not normally. So, in order to replicate what my people do naturally, they were. I'm sorry, there's no real easy way to explain this. Cutting open your brain and rewiring things.
Which is
In order to
okay.
change it to work like mine.
Cooper
How-
reaches out to hold her hand if she wants.
I don't think she's let go of his hand at this
Okay.
point.
Okay.
How did they know that I had potential, that any of us had potential?
I don't know. I'm pretty certain the mask. I never got his name. But I'm pretty certain the
Silas?
mask. No, different mask. The mask in
Oh,
charge had a
The
way of
shadow
telling.
figure.
I don't know if you ever got a good glimpse of him, but
I just thought of him as the shadow figure. He always stood in the shadows. I didn't know his name either.
yeah. He seemed to have a way of telling. I don't know how. He's the person that I've been trying to track down.
How many of us were there?
Aside from myself, about a dozen of you.
And when did they take you?
Right about the same time they killed the rest of my family, which was 30 some odd years ago.
How old does he look?
Somewhere in his late 30s, early 40s.
You were a child?
Yep. Makes it easier to cut my brain open and see how it works.
I'm sorry.
He just
I
shrugs.
am too.
Anyways, if
I
you're here to
wanna
invest,
help.
if you're here to investigate, that's good, but following that trail is going to get you nowhere. Not
It
everybody,
was some.
not everybody involved in the Torchbearers are involved in the shit that happened. They're
I know
really
that.
good.
It was.
They're really good at keeping their fronts separate.
It was just a starting point for me.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to be here, he says, pointing to the location that you're in, for the next few days. If you want my help, gather your friends that are investigating and you can bring them here and we can talk.
Okay.
But after a few days, I'm going to be. I don't stay in the same hideout for more than a couple days.
I'll speak to them as soon as we regroup.
All right. I'm glad you made it back. To your
Thanks.
friends, that is.
Thanks.
I haven't heard from anybody else, but hopefully they're laying low.
I was looking for you because you're the only one that I knew the name of.
Yeah, fair.
All
right.
I'll regroup with the others.
Go.
We will see you soon.
If I can ask one question, was there a dozen of you all total, or those are the only ones who made it?
There's you can see like a twitch in his jaw as you ask that question. The ones that escaped were not the only ones that had it done to them.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. Meanwhile, good governance. What information were you looking for?
Where are the people who are interested in ruins
Okay.
in this city?
And you had a 10 investigation. So you get there's people in the market ward that are always interested in relics to sell. So you know that that's where the relic seekers themselves are. Then in the scholar ward, there's the Cobalt Reserve, which is the single largest public library and archive in the continent. And they tend to be interested in ruins for an archaeological perspective. Let me chill out this music real quick because we're gonna switch to a different mood. Within the scholar ward are also where there are various colleges and places of study and education that would also theoretically be interested in runes. And then outside of that, the Opal Ward might be interested, based on people. There are various places in the Opal Ward that might be interested, based on just like um, um, wanting to make sure that you keep track of any ancient ruins that might be delved into within a certain city-state's realm of governance or within a certain realm of the land. And then, from what you gather, again, because you got a 10, the Temple Ward might also consider some ruins to be religiously significant, depending on where they're found. So there's quite a few different places that you could find people that are interested in runes.
My brain is not functioning well enough to continue investigating tonight.
Okay, that's fine. Was there anything else that you wanted to do other than investigate?
I want to talk to the goblins.
Okay. We'll get to that in a second. Elefira and Tenebris, you all went to the Cobalt Archive or Cobalt Reserve. What are you looking
Yep.
for while you're there?
I am going to first of all check in
Mhm.
because find. I am looking. I want to talk to. I want to try and find if there is an expositor who is potentially looking into the torchbearers, because I feel like
Other than Rook?
other than Rook, that here in here in the city, here anywhere really, because I feel like when you have a secret like espionage type organization, like a secret CIA type organization in your semi-religious monthly order, um you look at a group that is all nice and charity and has a wonderful flow of police, and there's no way you've got just one person investigating them.
Yeah, no. You can learn that, Expositor Erlantz is another
Okay.
expositor that is working on that operates out of Western. That
Okay.
is working on that investigation as well.
I would love to get in and get a conversation with Expositor
Erlantz.
Erlantz.
They the archivists at the reserve will let you know that Erlantz is expected back in the city in 2 days' time. They were
Okay.
investigating. They were investigating activities along the. Hang on. They were investigating activities along Parchwood Way, out towards the Turst Fields. And so they
Okay.
should be back in 2 days, at which point you can request an audience with them.
Perfect. And then just generally, I'm going to see if there's any any local points of local news of recent stuff that might be of interest? Blah blah blah.
They will let you know. Tenebris, are you doing anything while you're also at the Cobalt Reserve, or just hanging out with Elvira listening?
Staying fairly close to Elvira, but like looking at the shelves,
Yeah.
seeing if like, oh, here's a book on sea deities, or
You are not when you're talking to this particular archivist. You're not like around any shelves. The reserve is a massive library. Typically you are required to have an archivist with you while you look through it, because there are so many books, it would be easy to get lost and starve trying to find one book. So, where you're at right now, there are no visible stacks.
okay. Like Tenebris is just kind of looking around in the vicinity of Ella.
Cool.
Like not wandering off on his own.
Yeah, this is the Cobalt Reserve is to libraries what Vatican City is to religious buildings.
Bigger on the inside.
Fucking massive.
Big and full of old people.
That too. As
Well, because like the Western one is like their like original home branch, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's their original one, but it is the biggest. As far as things that are happening around town, over the past week, there have been a number, over 4 dozen livestock animals have been disappearing from the outlying villages, which is part of what the expositor's been investigating.
Okay.
So over 4 dozen like livestock, beasts of burden, plains cows. They have all been they have all been disappearing with like 5-foot holes in the ground, and acid scarring being the only thing left in their wake.
It's aliens.
Um,
Crop circles.
and there have also been reports of children going missing on the rise recently in Western that the Cobalt Archive has been investigating.
Who's been investigating that?
There hasn't been an extra expositor to be assigned to it yet. The current person investigating that is just a Cobalt Soul monk, who is not a titled monk. They are. Iona. Just monk Iona.
Okay.
And she is she's actually out in the city right now, working on that investigation. So those are the 2 big things.
I'm gonna look over at Tenebris and say, do you want to stay here at the library for a bit, or possibly reconnect? I want to go talk. I want to go look into talk with Iona and see what's up with this missing kid thing. It might. It's probably not connected to anything we're doing on, but missing kids.
That is a concern, yeah.
It needs more than like. I know I trust my organization, and I'm sure it's just a manpower issue, and it's probably not too big yet, but I want to see if there's any way I can help with that. If we are able to and have time. But if you want to hang out here, if you want to go back and find the rest.
I mean, if you want to go off on your own, I can. I could look around the library and get back.
Cool. Cool. That's my
Cool.
goal.
All right. Nashka, there aren't any caravans going to Kaimel, at least not that you're able to find right now.
Oh, she was checking like within the next week or so. She was expecting we were going to be here for a few
Well,
days.
that's the thing. This is because this is a trade hub. Most it's within a few weeks is hard to tell immediately. You'll have to like wait and see what's going to happen. There are always going to be caravans going places, but for the specific kind of specifications that you're looking for, it's easier to find as it gets closer to time, basically.
Cool. So, well, that at the very least, the fact that I don't need to try and reserve a spot on one is enough of an answer.
Yeah. And you are also able to find a place to. There are inns in the market ward that you can find that you can find to get rooms for the night, if you so desire.
Yep. Definitely want to try and find a place to rest.
Yep. There's one in particular that seems to be one of the. Are you looking for more popular or less popular?
Indifferent to popularity, more looking for secure.
So you end up settling on a slightly out of the way tavern. It's tavern/inn. It's the Last Meat Inn. And it's got
MEET or MEAT?
MEAT.
Yes.
Cool.
Get the salad.
Yeah.
The sign for the inn is like a steak in like a with like an execution hood on it, as if it was eating its last meal.
Is this this is they either serve sentient flesh or it's aggressively vegan.
This is, from what you can tell, this is somebody the person who runs the inn thinks up stupid puns and is part of the reason why it doesn't get a lot of traffic.
Self-sabotaging.
I didn't know you just inserted either Jack or Craig into your game.
Or me.
I thought this was a self-insert.
Yeah, I would say like this is either West Coast Jack, Craig, or Sen.
Right.
Yes, this is it's that's when you find out it's actually a 3-headed version with all 3 of us in it. But yeah, no.
We've been here the whole time.
Yeah, it's out of the way, fairly secure, and not a lot of turnover, it seems.
I wonder why.
It'll do the job.
I am definitely getting the vegetarian soup option.
Let's just eat somewhere else every night.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to explore the town.
But yeah, you can get rooms there for a modest price of, I think, 5 silver a night. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
So, and they have plenty.
What's our usual number of rooms? Is it 2 people per we usually go for?
I think so.
Yeah.
Me is 1.
Is it 5 silver a night for the group or 5 silver a night per room?
Per room. 5
Per
silver a
room.
night per room.
Yeah.
So me and Fyron are 1 room.
One,
And then it's usually
2,
Rupert and
3.
Tenebris. Good Goblins will take up. I think we're going at 4 rooms because that's
2,
yeah.
3.
Because I'm 1 by myself because I have a significant other.
And the
1,
good goblins are 1 by
2,
themselves because they're 3.
3, yeah, 4. Yeah, so 4 rooms. So that's gonna be 2
I'll
gold a
deduct
night.
my silver.
Given that Davina just met Hawk, Davina might want a room for herself, but we'll find out.
Yeah, she'll. Assuming that anyone who wants to will pay their own part, but Nashka will put down the 2 gold for right now. People reimburse her as needed.
I'm deducting silver so I can have contributed.
assuming
So give yourself 5 more silver.
we will, because everyone's going in sort of slightly different directions right now. I know Davina is trying to get back to other people. We're going to jump a little bit ahead in time because the good goblins will eventually go towards the end of the day over to the goblin caravan, which we'll go to that first before we end for the evening. So yeah, you go to the goblin caravan.
We know that Najka also wants to go, right?
Yes.
Then we're gonna go with Najka.
Cool. The caravan has parked itself at this point in a place where there would be a market stall in like sort of the open market area near the Exandria near the Exandrian Exchange, which is this big auction house location. And they've extruded out several different aspects of the caravan that, again, previously didn't look like they could extrude out, and are using them to construct awnings and like a booth and a table and things. And they've started setting out their wares to sell while they're here in Western, having already sold off a good portion of their stuff elsewhere. And so you guys, the group of you, essentially two of you, approach the caravan, and Vinda is there, sort of in like a makeshift rocking chair, off to one side of the table, as other goblins are organizing stacks of things and putting labels on stuff and setting up the display counter to be nice and pretty.
The closer we can arrive towards the end of market day, the better.
Oh yeah, no, this is the end of market day, and this is when they're setting up, because they're setting up for tomorrow. And he's just sitting there. You're not sure if it's the same piece of wheat or a different piece of wheat, but it's in the same location in his mouth as you approach. Well, welcome to the stall. I hope your days were productive.
For the most part.
So, are you here to look for something to buy?
At the very least, we're interested in that scroll.
And you? He says, looking over at Martin Victoria.
Martin Victoria will just nod in agreement with Najka for right now.
Well,
this is our first business. They're gonna wait until that's conducted to decide on any other business.
Well, we do so happen to still have that scroll for you. No one else was interested. As he tosses it up and sort of reaches over, tosses it up and catches it in a better position, and holds it up. Well, let me really quickly grab a pricing chart. So, given the contents of this scroll, we can't simply let it go for a song, obviously. This is knowledge of the like that I've got kept up here, but can be transferable to others, obviously. So, if you're looking to buy straight up with currency, with cold hard currency, we're going to look at 800 gold at the very least.
It's currently a little bit outside of my price range, and additionally, in my line of work, every last drop of currency is vital material. So, I would ask if you might be willing to trade service for good. I am a skilled craftsman, and my group are talented adventurers as a whole.
What have you got on you that's worth 800 then?
Frankly, the only thing she has on her that's worth that much is her armor, but she's not trading that.
I mean, he's talking about skills-wise.
Yeah. Well, I can make just about anything under the sun, given enough materials and time. And I can make what you've got better in a variety of different ways.
Well, I think you'd need this scroll to make what we've got better, he says. Look, he says, thumbing at the frankly more complicated piece of engineering than you've ever seen before outside of a flying city that they use as a caravan.
And possibly that's true, but I think once I've got an understanding of how this ancient tech works, I think I can figure out a few improvements. It's kind of been my talent.
I'd want to make an insight check because it feels to me, the player, like they would be interested in intangible things as well.
Gotta make an insight check.
I did poorly.
With advantage, actually, because you're goblins.
I did better.
With a 14. What's you can sort of get the sense that this person's understanding of what is worth 800 gold might not be other people's understanding of what is worth 800 gold. And so, based on how they interact with people, particularly on the caravan, where they were just providing their services for free, yeah, intangible things might be an alternative.
Mark Victoria is going to scoot 1 foot, just bumped up next to Nashka's, because they're going to try something that makes them nervous and they need physical contact.
Najka will just line up her leg armor just to provide that steadying surface.
Oh. I'm trying to put words to a thought. We would like to sit with you and talk and see what we come up with over conversation.
Sounds like a fine idea. There's no rush after all.
Because he had said to me to go somewhere comfortable at the end of our last conversation.
Why don't you all come and join us in the caravan? And he will hop up and walk around to the side of the caravan that isn't immediately visible to the rest of the road. That also has various aspects of it opened up. There's like more private, but there's significantly more privacy about it over there.
Mm-hmm. We'll go over there and have a seat.
As he gets over there, 2 of the smaller goblins have picked up his rocking chair, run through the caravan to the other side to get it there before he arrives.
Fantastic.
And so he sits back down.
We're gonna pull a map back out and point to, what's it called? The Ivy Heart Thicket?
Let me put you back on the top.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I got it right.
Yep.
Put a finger directly on that and say, what do you know of ruins in these woods?
I know the ruins of Torthil. We've been there once, but driven out by bandits that had taken up residence, which was odd the last time we went there, because our historical records indicate that there was a goblin village there at some point. But the last time we went, it was overrun by bandits instead.
Oh.
Nashka raises an eyebrow and looks at Martin Victoria, sort of putting 2 and 2 together.
And say, we have a similar understanding of the history.
It looks like he's waiting for you to get to the point, basically.
Martin Victoria's trying to figure out how to go about sharing what they want to share without sharing what they don't want to share.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to put words to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going slow.
Fair.
We suspect the ruins there may have been of interest to someone before the bandits showed up, who made room for the bandits to show up.
That would be a tragic tale, and unfortunately not too an uncommon of one.
Do they know where the ruins are specifically? Or
do the good goblins know?
no, the good goblins know because they've been there.
You're asking? Yeah, he indicated that there was a goblin village there. Yeah, he indicated that there was a goblin village there, which would mean he would know exactly where the ruins are. That would be a sad, and that would be an extremely tragic story, and not uncommon, unfortunately. If I recall correctly, I had relatives there.
We knew the goblins there personally.
Well, then I'm sorry.
We have been looking for whoever may have been interested in these ruins. And I can't, okay, what can I was hoping I would have useful information for them. I can't tell them about Tuartakala. They already know everything I know about this place.
They don't know everything you know. They know that there was goblins there are ruins there, and that there are now bandits there. They do not know what happened between there being goblins there and there being bandits there.
Unfortunately, we don't really either.
We have
implied everything we do know.
Yeah.
And they're like, yep, that sounds awful.
They may also not know that under the ruins of Torthil are pre-calamity ruins.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the next play. We were housed there for many years, before the goblins were ousted.
You or the Aormaton you're wearing?
Tap, tap.
Interesting.
We have found various ruins seem aligned with various elements. We've explored ruins of, it was water, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the one on Tuartakala was water.
We have come from ruins of, earth.
So there are Terran ruins under Torthil.
We intend to clear out the bandits.
Tell you what. If we enter into a contract, he says, looking at Najka, your group will escort us to Kaimu after we're done with our business here in Western, so that we can continue on towards the ruins of Torthil, and you'll come with us there as well to clear out the bandit issue. This scroll is yours.
I think we can agree to that, considering we were going to be headed to Kaimu anyway.
Martin Victoria nods, because that's exactly what they want to do.
Because it sounds like some ruins that might require some Seekers' involvement. I'll have the kids draw up some contracts, and we'll get your signature on it. If you'd care, he says in Goblin to Martin Victoria, if you'd care, we've got some grub we've got some grub stewing up. If you'd like to have some traditional Goblin fare for once.
Oh. Martin Victoria is going to look at Najka and say that it is very unfortunate that these goblins have lost their guard.
Incredibly unfortunate. But I think if
I
there's
think
anyone,
they require another one.
I think they do. And if there was anywhere that would be a good time to sit down for maintenance, I would say this is the best place for it.
The goblins will switch faces here. And Martin Victoria will just be standing up, looking like they're ready to punch something. And nobody's going to notice 3 extra goblins here.
No. You exit Martin Victoria?
Yeah. But we're doing it yeah.
Yeah. When you exit, obviously out of sight of the rest of the world, but in sight of these goblins.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah. Venda. Well, hello, you 3. Welcome home. Come get some food. And that's where we'll end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.